cancer diagnosis at the age of 32, my mom and I talked a lot about the shock of that diagnosis, given several doctors told us you're too young to have endometrial cancer. After much discussion, we began to feel driven to inform and help educate other young women about what symptoms they should be concerned.
Having both been teachers, it seemed natural for us to look for a way to share Alex's cancer journey in order to help other young women avoid such a shocking diagnosis or possibly navigate a similar path. A podcast seemed the best way to get the word out, and that's how Down There Aware was born.
4 years later, our mother-daughter duo has gone from educating and informing to advocacy and action, with a fresh and sometimes very interesting and somewhat humorous multi-generational perspective.
We look forward to sharing with you Season 4 as we advocate, take action, and make it a priority to always be Down There Aware.
Welcome back to another episode of Down There Aware. We're happy you're here. And I just want to say thanks for everybody who voted for me. I didn't win. I didn't move on. But you know what? I placed 5th. And we didn't, what did I say, hawk for votes. We didn't. What?
No. And plus, the word got out about the nonprofit, which really is the whole point of you even entering the contest.
Exactly. And, you know, we're really excited about the spotlight that's been shown on the nonprofit and the podcast. And so we're very, very excited about that. And there was an article published. That was pretty cool. I didn't expect it to be so big in the paper. We'll have that on our website so you can read it. But it was a really, really nice podcast. This is the podcast. It was a really nice article about just what we're doing and where we're going and, you know, the impact we want to make in our community.
Yeah. And you've been contacted by a local program to be on TV to talk about the nonprofit. And, you know, the more we can get the word out about Down There Aware, the nonprofit, the more help we can give to people who need it. So
right. That, you know, is the most important thing. So very excited, a little overwhelmed, but very excited about all of the attention this has been getting, and happy to move forward and see how things grow and change. I was kind of surprised that, and you know, I think it's like a social media algorithm thing, but we've been doing this podcast for 3 years now, 4 seasons, and actually this is our 4th year.
I was going to say, I thought it was 4, but
it's our 4th year. And I still had people after they saw the article comment and say, I didn't know anything about your podcast. I didn't know anything about your nonprofit. I didn't know. And so that was pretty cool that it was reaching new people. So,
well, and that really is something we talk about a lot. How to get the word out. It's difficult to, if you're not in that field, even though
getting wild with the mics over here,
you know a lot about marketing and all from, you know, your grad work. It's just hard to know what the best way is. And it's very specific to what the nonprofit is. So we just keep persevering, putting one foot in front of the other.
Yeah, that's all you can really do. And, you know, we are trying to fight the algorithm every day and just try to figure out how we can best get the word out. And it is a very specific topic.
Yeah.
And so it's not one that people readily think about or are interacting with other things that might lead them to us. So,
but word of mouth, we have found, is really important. We found that with people voting, and now with the nonprofit, it's just this person telling this person, them telling 5 more people, and
and just getting the word out.
Yeah.
So that's very, very exciting. And today we want to kind of expand on why we landed on specifically our first project with the nonprofit is our Ready, Set, Go boxes. And we've talked about those, what they are, but where did we get that idea from? How did we land on that? And just to talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah, I think the very beginning was when we interviewed Kelly and Ellie, mother-daughter. Ellie had started her period, and we thought it would be good for young girls to hear from a peer about how she prepared, and then how she responded once she started. And then Kelly, as the mom, how she prepared Ellie. So anyway, that episode is on the website, and it's a really, really good one. I think it's a great one for moms and daughters to sit down with before the daughter starts her period to just talk about ways to prepare. And I think that's kind of what put the notion in our head that was a great idea. But then we found out about period poverty.
Yeah. And, period poverty essentially is that girls and women miss school, work, their life because they can't afford period products to get through their day. And they're rationing period products. They're using products that are not sanitary, not made for that. They're reusing sanitary products that are not made to be reused. They're disposable. And this happens with a significant portion of women who still have their periods and young girls who still have their periods. And it just struck us as ridiculous that, a human function that 50% of the world has, you can't, it affects your life so greatly.
Well, and we're fortunate in the United States. We don't have a lot of the stigma and the cultural issues that other people in other parts of the world have. So ours really is financial poverty. The young women who just don't have the money.
Yeah, they can't afford to, go buy tampons or pads or panty liners or whatever. And I do see that there is a benefit now that there are more reusable products out there, so that over time you save money, but those tend to be more expensive up front.
Right.
And so, there's all kinds of, you have to clean them properly, and they have a little bit more care involved than something that you're just throwing away. So there are some alternatives, but again, they cost a lot up front. And so a lot of folks are trying to combat period poverty with having products donated from companies or from local community members. And then locally, there is a girl a few years ago a high school student who noticed that some of her peers were missing school because they had their periods and they didn't have the products they needed. And so she made it her mission that all schools, middle and high school, would have at least one dispenser for products so that girls would have that at school available to them. So I think that's pretty great.
I do too. And I think just as important as the products themselves, and this may be because we're both teachers and we realize the importance of this, but we want to include educational material specific to menstruation. We're not going to get into pregnancy or sex.
We're not going anywhere. Sexuality. No. We're not crossing any of those lines in education. Strictly talking about the scientific fact that this is what your body goes through when you hit puberty, and this is what happens, and this is how you take care of it. And it's a very small piece of that sexual health education. But I think sometimes it's lacking. And, I recall it was in the 5th grade. Now this was in the 90s, but we were separated. The boys went in one room and the girls went in another room. I don't know what the boys talked about because I wasn't in there. And the girls talked about getting their periods. And while I think developmentally and at that age, separating can cause less embarrassment, you can ask questions that you maybe wouldn't ask in front of your male peers. But at the same time, those boys need to learn about periods.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's why in our Ready, Set, Go boxes, We want to have a bag, kind of like a makeup bag that has some things in it that a girl who is at the age where she's going to start pretty soon, the parents have this discussion with her, and she can carry that bag in her backpack. So when it happens, if it happens at school, she's prepared as far as the products go.
And sorry to interrupt, but also as prepared in knowing what it is.
Right.
And knowing how to respond, not being embarrassed or afraid.
Right.
I think, some children who are never taught about what that is, you all of a sudden start bleeding. That's scary.
Yeah, because blood is
bad.
wrong.
Blood
Yeah.
is scary. You're hurt when you're bleeding. And so just putting some context around that. And then like Mom said, having these girls be prepared where Mom and Dad can have this conversation ahead of time. They can carry this cute, discreet bag in their backpack or their lunchbox or purse or whatever. And then if it happens while they're away from home, they can pop in and they know what to do and they're prepared.
Yeah. So it'll have pads and
panty liners and tissues if you get emotional, hand sanitizer,
and some disinfectant wipes and just things that you will need if that happens at school. But part of the box as well, we want to have educational material that's not a bunch of stuff to read, but kind of some bullet points to help parents with having that discussion if they're struggling a little bit with how to say it, what to say. And that includes dads and brothers. We want to have a section about what a boy or a man's responsibility is. So there's not period shaming going on because statistically, I've read that happens to, I think it was 60% of women have admitted to having been period shamed by men. And then have something for the girls as well. Just be sure that we've got the educational part covered.
Yeah. Well, and also, I think it's important to educate men and not just gear it toward women completely, because how many young girls are being raised by uncles or grandparents or friends or I don't know, all kinds of family situations. And so just being open and being prepared for, this is the educational material from an adult perspective and how to speak to the child. And then this is the educational material that you can hand to your child and they can read on their own. You can read it with them. You can answer questions. You can give them some time to look over it and then ask questions later. But more on that level, that reading level and developmentally appropriate level.
Right. So we're excited that the contest and the article has generated a little bit of donation that can kind of get us going. We're very grateful for that. And we need to work toward making it happen. And that just is logistically.
Yep. Yeah. And we, I think at first we set kind of a lofty goal.
Yeah.
And we still have that lofty goal. And I'm just going to speak it into existence. I want to prepare, assemble, and distribute 500 Ready, Set, Go boxes in the greater Big Bend area by Christmas.
Okay.
I think we can do it.
I think we can do it. Speak it into existence.
Yeah, it's August 8th. It's August 8th. Happy birthday, Nathan. He's not listening to this, but happy birthday, JC Chassé. In sync, anyone?
Okay.
Sorry. Old childhood reminiscence. Anyway, so I think that is a good goal for us, but we are going to take our first donations, which we're so grateful for, and put together a few so that we can show them to people who we're talking to about donating and helping to put together the boxes.
And we're going to start with public and private schools.
Yep. And have, something tangible. And don't worry, we're going to do our research. We are former public school teachers. We know plenty of people who work at FDOE, the Department of Education. We're going to cross all our T's, talk to the right people. We're not just going to be the craziest ladies waving pads at the fence at the, schoolyard. Like, come get a free pad. will be carted away in handcuffs, but
Yeah.
we won't do that. So, but yes, focusing on those schools and community centers, our women's shelters, foster care networks. I really think that it's an important thing to get, especially to those underserved populations and those who need it most.
So that's the plan.
Yep.
And that's why we wanted to talk a little bit about period poverty and the Ready, Set, Go boxes. And we called it Ready, Set, Go because we want the young girls to get ready by becoming prepared, talking with their parents and guardians. Set, where we have everything, at their fingertips. And go because it's going to happen.
Yep.
You might as well
gotta deal with it.
Yeah, it's going to happen. So,
well, and also something that I think is important, the bags, we are hoping to be kind of nondescript. They're going to be cute, colorful patterns. It's not going to say Ready, Set, Go. It's not going to say Down There Aware. It's not going to have a vagina on it, right? Like it's going...
Oh, good choice.
Or a uterus or whatever, right? But it's going to be discreet so that it looks just like a pencil case or a makeup bag or something that they would already have, and it wouldn't draw unnecessary or unwanted attention, so that they can be confident in what's happening in their bodies and not feel embarrassed or shameful about it.
Yeah. So Alex is going to tell you how to donate if you want to be a part of this effort.
All you have to do is go to our website, www.downthereaware.com. There's a donate button right on the top of the page. It takes you right to the bottom of the page where the donate form is. It's very simple. And you have the opportunity to select your own amount. There's no amount too small. And we're just so grateful for that, for, people being willing to make donations. And that really it's a good way for us to get started. We have a budget set. We have items that we're looking to buy, items we're looking to get donated. We're in the works right now with a company to have those donated, specifically the period products, the feminine products that go in the bag. So we're hitting the ground running, and hopefully we'll have an assembly party and distribution party, and we'll be able to get everything out. But yeah, I think by Christmas, I think we can do it.
Okay. That's our goal.
It is. So thanks for listening to this episode. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Down There Aware. Be sure to like and subscribe on our new YouTube channel, as well as on your favorite podcast platform. You can find us at Down There Aware on all social media sites: Twitter, Pinterest, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. If you have it, we're there at Down There Aware. You can learn more on our website, www.downthereaware.com, and always get in touch with us, downthereaware@gmail.com. See you next week.